Alright, so I wanted to talk a little bit about Raw Nationals. So far, it's been the biggest meet of my life. It was my second Nationals with USAPL, and I totaled 750 kilos. That comes out to 1653 in pounds in the 105 kg weight class. I want to shout out also Cryo RVA for taking care of me, making sure I'm healthy and I'm able to stay recovered from lifting, and X Factor Athletic Performance for giving me a great place to train. So my squat on the day, squats were feeling kind of weird, not terrible, but ended up doing really well in the squat. This is my first attempt with 573.2 pounds or 260 kilos. At Nationals, the lights are all super bright and all in your face. So the first lift of the day is kind of weird because it's not anything that I'm used to in the gym. But of course, as it being an opener, it should be easy in the first place. My squat walkouts that day was not good. I wasn't happy with really any of them. You'll see on the second attempt it was the worst. Since my opener was so light and easy, got it done. On to the next one. So there was a lot of problems with my second attempt squat. That it just from the start of it was not good. You'll see me get under, and I'm fine getting under. But as soon as I unrack it, that's when we started to have some issues. This first step back, I think, was a little too short. That second was just out of control, and then I smacked the rack and took a third and a fourth and a fifth even. Very uncontrolled, very unlike myself. Managed to get it done though for what was at the time a PR. I wasn't extremely happy with that, but got it done. I was kind of concerned about the rack height, so I just kind of asked the spotters about it, but then the head referee kicked me off the platform. So I come out for my third, and this is to tie what was at that point the state record in the squat. Somebody asked if I was Jonathan Davis, and I'm like, yeah, I'm Jonathan Davis. So this was to tie what was at that point the state record in the squat. I had mixed feelings about it. I knew I didn't have a ton in the tank. I knew I couldn't miss a squat because that was needed to reach the goal, qualifying for the Arnold. So we decided to go 622. This was probably my best walkout of the day, and it still wasn't good. We powered out the hole. Yeah, I was kind of happy after. So squats for this next cycle. One thing I'm really gonna dial in on is the walkout and the setup, making it consistent every single time, no matter how heavy or how light the weight is, making it consistent every single time. I kind of got it down to where I take 3 steps every time now, but I kind of want to make sure those steps are exactly the same every time. That's one thing I could do a little bit better, of making sure they're exactly the same every single time. Also, when I squat and I come back up on the ascent, making sure that my hips don't shoot out from under me. Sometimes when the weight is really heavy, I got a tendency to do that. It's not usually drastic because my back is pretty strong, but every little thing I can improve on is gonna help me get even higher. So So then we came into the bench press. I was feeling good. I called Meso and had a good conversation with him. Headed into the bench press, we got a solid game plan. So here's my first attempt at 363.8 pounds. Usually, every single time I come out for my first attempt on the bench press, I take some time to explain to the spotter what exactly I want him to do on the handoff, because everybody's different. Everybody likes it a different way. Sometimes I explain it on the second attempt too. So I came out there and I told him exactly what I needed from him. And this first one, it went pretty well. For first lift off of the guy I don't know, who I'm not used to. The bench itself went fine too. One thing I'm going to work on this upcoming prep is, well, the biggest thing I'm going to work on is having a self lift off. So this is where I don't even use a spotter or loader to help me lift the weight off. And you'll see kind of why I got the idea for that on the second attempt. Our communication was off, or something happened where we're just not used to working with each other or whatever. And I got a kind of wonky handoff on the second attempt. Part of the reason why I want to do a self lift off is because the only person I have to blame about my lift offs are myself, and I can make sure that they're the same every single time. So I think next training cycle I'm gonna hit those up and see where they take me. That release was just kind of weird for me. Still finished the lift. I had to grind through it a little bit. Wasn't exactly what we wanted. We wanted to go up a little bit higher than 385 on the third, but I needed that second to look a little bit better than it did, and it didn't. So we played it safe. Just went up to the next attempt, which was 385. Ended up hitting that too. Another thing on the bench that gives me some trouble is I think this is more of a mental thing with me. With my feet on the bench, I'll set my feet and I'll either drive them back like too far to where my heels are coming up, or I'll put them in a good spot, but I'll be too worried about using too much leg drive because I don't want my feet to come up. So it's something I'm thinking about, like in the back of my head while I'm benching all the time. I think that's kind of holding me back. So I need to work on getting them in a good spot where I can definitely use leg drive without my feet coming up at all. Yeah, this third attempt went a whole lot better than that second attempt. I was kind of upset at myself on that one. But we're 6 for 6 so far. Going into the deadlift. Shout out to 9 for 9 Media. Got some good pictures of me. Make this guy look like he knows what he's somewhat doing, I guess. Double chin for the win. Some other things I'm going to work on the bench press is my shoulder strength. I believe with the self handoff and coming out a little bit higher up, I'm going to need that upper chest and deltoids to be a little bit stronger. I also think I'm going to ditch the belt too. I think it's hindering my arch a little bit on the bench. But here we go into deadlifts. When I started warming up for deadlifts, I felt terrible at nationals. I felt absolutely awful. I was like, I don't even know if I'll be able to pull anything. I might bomb out on deadlifts today. I called Meso and I told him that my first warm-up attempt was with 275 in the warm-up room, and it felt like a stack of bricks. It felt so heavy. But I took a few more warm-up attempts. I think I took maybe like 3 or 4 total pulls in the warm-up room, and it came out for 584. It looked a whole lot better than it felt, because it felt terrible. It felt heavy. So the goal of this meet was to qualify for the Arnold, and I needed a 450 Wilks to qualify for the Arnold. I needed exactly, at this point in the meet, I needed exactly 644 to qualify for the Arnold. This was I was going into this lift 7 for 7 so far. This was the one I needed to qualify for the Arnold, and I knew with 2 pulls left, it gave me a great shot at getting in. So of course we pulled it here. It was heavy, but we powered through. And looking for the lights, and we got it done. We're pretty hyped. I was too tired to really show how hype I was, but we got it done. So this third attempt I came out, and I knew what I was feeling like. I knew that I was gassed. Me and Mesa talked about it on the phone, and we went 661. I felt like it might have been a little outside my range, but I was 8 for 8 going into this pool, so I was like, let me try it. So we tried, and we cleared the usual sticking point, but couldn't get really farther than that. I wasn't mad at all. I finished the day 8 for 9 with a 622 squat, a 385-pound bench, and a 661 deadlift. A 644 deadlift. I missed 661. It's the only lift of the meet I missed. So I'm not hanging my head. I reached my goal of qualifying for the Arnold Classic in March and got signed up for the Raw Challenge a couple weeks ago. So we're all set. We're all ready to go. Yeah. The deadlift, there's not a whole lot of work that I can do on the deadlift because I usually don't really pull heavy a lot in training. I rely off of my squat training to help my pull training. And that's worked for me for the last few training cycles, so I'm going to keep that going. Maybe work on grip strength a little bit and just continue to make the back and hamstrings stronger so that I can finish those big 661 pulls. So I came into this meet with 2 goals: to qualify for the Arnold and to break the Virginia total state record for the 105 kg Raw Open. And I actually got both done. To qualify for the Arnold, I needed to break the state record, which I believe is 1644 before. So I broke it by like 2.5 kilos. Qualified for the Arnold, finished 17th out of 43 guys from around the nation. As always, shout out to Big Mesa and Revis, because I would not be here without those guys. They've kept me straight for the last couple of years now. Cryo RVA for making sure I'm healthy and making sure I can recover from those crazy, brutal training sessions and also get back for more. And then also thank you to X Factor Athletic Performance in Midlothian, Virginia for getting me a place to come and clang and bang.